Hello. This is Magda Shares and welcome my subscribers, welcome everyone watching this film. Thank you very much. I know it's been a long break and I had to utilize this time to compose myself and compose my health. So I'm back. I don't know. I hope for much longer. I do hope so, because I've missed you guys. I did miss you a lot, and I missed doing these videos and talking to you and having feedback from you, which has always been so cordial and heartwarming that you can't imagine how I felt, but it was amazing. For a short video, because just for a start, what is everybody talking about now? What's on top? The hottest topic, of course, in the States, and not only, is the Kohlberger's story. And I can't say Kohlberger's crimes, because to me, if it hasn't been proven yet, you can't say he's guilty. You can't talk about crimes. We know a lot has been revealed recently, and a lot of strange things that actually do not match to my mind when I have been following this case for many months, watching different YouTubers, because I usually don't rely on mainstream media. So YouTubers are great, really. Great source of genuine, legit information. That's just one contradictory inconsistency, BS. So lately, what's been talked about is this new video, CCTV video, showing allegedly his car parking near this cursed house where the murders had taken place, and him allegedly, maybe not going to this house because we can't see it, but coming back from this house, and some noises when he's allegedly in the house, like dog barking. But there are so many buts that when we look at it, to call it circumstantial, it's too much. Because the film gives him at most 8 minutes to commit the crimes. And when we have a look at the brutality of the crimes, at the manner of the crimes, like using the weapon, no, sorry, I can't be too specific and too brutal in my descriptions, but you know what I mean. And one of the victims having defensive wounds. So, you know, when people defend themselves, they do not only use their arms, hands, legs to defend themselves, but their voice as well. The voice is important to call for help, to make as much noise as possible, to alert other people that something's going on, and maybe someone will call for help. And there's nothing like that. Silence, total silence. It looks like, to my mind, it would be a silent, quick execution, which wasn't. Because if we take into consideration the knife, the manner of killing, it's not an execution. Execution is usually done in silence by a different weapon, not by a knife, stabbing 4 people, knowing that each one of them can make a lot of noise, and leaving 2 witnesses behind. It doesn't make sense. A lot of things, does not make sense here. I cannot connect the dots. In this movie, we can see a car. But is this the car that Brian was using? If he actually was using the car for this purpose. Because we can see the sunroof. So we can cross it out. It's not the car. It's not this car. Eight minutes for slaying, not killing silently, slaying 4 people. No. And leaving no traces, so like changing clothes in the middle, after, and leaving in a different outfit. How come? Of course, the police says his car was there, but the cars don't match. The car that the police show does not match the car he has. The DNA, yes, there is a piece of DNA, 1, on the sheath. Do you remember Amanda Knox case? When the police wanted to frame her just because they wanted to have the killer immediately. There was no evidence in her brutally killed friend's room, apart from just 1 DNA from her boyfriend's on bra clip, nothing else whatsoever. And as it turned out, it could have been a transferred DNA. That's why those 2 people, Amanda and her friend, were eventually made free. Because what is one single evidence in this kind of a murder with lots of blood and lots of strength and struggling with one of the victims? How come there is no other evidence of DNA? How come? Neither in his car, or at his home, or at his office. Just one on this knife, on this knife sheath. Knife sheath. And as I said, as I compared it to Amanda Knox's case, yes, there was DNA, but it did not prove anything, because it could have been planted, it could have been transferred. It did not prove that she was there or her boyfriend was there. And in this case, it does not prove that Brian Kohlberger was there, based on just one evidence, on this one thing. So before we jump into conclusions that we've got the right man to hang or to shot, just think about it. Because we have a precedent in the case of Amanda Knox, for example. If he was there at around the time of the killings, it doesn't make him a murderer, because we don't know why he was there. Maybe he was there for completely different reasons. And again, being there doesn't make him a murderer. You may think that the prosecution have a very strong case against him, since the penalty, the capital punishment is on the table. No, capital punishment is on the table because the prosecution have no other choice. They caught him, boasted of it, and they cannot turn back now. Maybe they have some other pieces of evidence or surveillance camera films. We don't know that. But leaving the two girls alive, by the way, who did not make any phone calls for several hours, knowing that something was wrong, according to the first one, who saw somebody leaving or going towards the sliding door, clad in black. So she must have suspected something, because she locked the door. And what? She was sitting there locked and waiting for what? Waiting for what? And then the next thing we know is that she called her friend, not the police. The police were informed much, much later. Everyone knew before the police. So there was something going on in this house that the girls didn't want the police to know until later. So they knew that something went wrong that night. And they didn't want to say it for whatever reason. What can be this reason? Fear? No, I don't think so. Drugs can be this reason. Drugs. Because if you have something to hide, you do not call the police. If you do not have anything to hide, and you know that something horrific had happened in your house, you automatically call for help. If you know that you have something to hide, you lawyer up, as she did, and then she called the police. But she first called her friend, not the police. So she knew that she would be in trouble if she called the police. So I think she had to get rid of something. What? Drugs. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. Maybe she was told. I don't know. Maybe she was maybe she was aware that something was wrong in this house, had been wrong within or among the roommates and the situation and the drugs for some time. And now it came to a kind of a climax. And she had to wait, because otherwise something may have happened to her or her family. Maybe she was threatened. But otherwise, it does not make any sense. Imagine you live in a house where upstairs you've got 4 people dead. You call them, there is no answer. You saw men clad in black at night leaving your house. And you lock your door out of fear and you don't call anyone, the police, anyone, for many hours on end for help. You just sit there alone, waiting for, I don't know, for what. So this later in the evening, or around noon, the whole university community had the information that there had been something very wrong that happened at that house. Later that changed into OD. I don't know why, but it did. So everybody knew before the police, because she, or both of them, the girls who survived, were scared to call the police, because they were scared that the police would, I suppose, this is my idea, discover something that they had, and they had to get rid of that before the police arrived. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. So was it Brian, who didn't know them, who didn't contact them, who didn't actually, I don't believe that he was infatuated with any of those girls, and jealous of one of them? For what? For a car? For money? For her beauty? For her lifestyle? He had his lifestyle, which was good. He had his money. He had his apartment. And he was handsome enough to have his own girlfriend. He didn't have to, search and stalk just like a random student from a different university. And by the way, 8 minutes for committing this kind of a crime. It would take a professional soldier, not a layman like he was. Maybe he had some theoretical knowledge, but in fact, he was a layman as for doing things like that. And think of professional soldiers that were nearby at the same time and dead soon after. Chłopaka. Why did he make the police kill him later on? What couldn't he bear? Did he make something ultimate, irreversible, horrible? We don't know. But he behaved strange. And the police was under so much pressure to find the killer. And you know what? Give me a man and I will find an article, and I will find a paragraph for him. So, what if this sheath had been planted? Why not? The history knows this kind of behavior. And this is the only piece of evidence, so why not? The police were desperate. I'm not saying Brian is innocent, because I don't know that. But I am not saying he's guilty, because I do not know I do not know that either. And many things here are only circumstantial and based on circumstantial evidence. Also DNA, which happens to be only on one thing, taking into consideration again the manner of killing. It would be everywhere. So take into consideration only one, I'd say it would be, it is circumstantial. And the police who are investigating the crime are known for planting evidence and framing people, because they do want to know, do want to improve the statistics. These are my thoughts for today. Let's see what happens. But he's not lost yet. He's not lost yet. I hope so, because it really does not seem that this is the right person. I feel it in my guts. I just have an intuition. I don't know how, I don't know why. I have intuition, which means he is not innocent. Which means he is innocent. Sorry, he is not guilty. But things I know are not matching up. So let's see what future brings. Thank you for watching, and please give me a thumbs up. It will help me a lot after such a long break. Thank you so much. Magda shares.